Hello, Seiiti. Sometimes you'll find yourself stuck when you have to face an important decision. You're waiting, you're frozen, you're looking at different options. You're endlessly weighing the pros and cons, you're researching more information. All of that makes you unable to actually make a choice. This is analysis paralysis, and why so many people struggle with that. Why do we get paralyzed? Overthinking decisions instead of just doing something, instead of just taking action. Analysis paralysis is the state of over-analyzing a decision to the point that taking action feels impossible. That is a trap that keeps us stuck in indecision, self-doubt. We are unable to move forward. Now, what exactly is this creature, analysis paralysis? It is the inability to act because you are overthinking. Analysis paralysis happens when the desire to make the best, absolute best choice ironically leads us to make no choice at all, because we get stuck in this endless loop of researching more, comparing options, imagining scenarios, seeking advice, but we actually never choose a path forward. And we struggle to get started. It could be deciding on a career move, choosing between different job offers, or figuring out what city to live in. Even just picking a restaurant for dinner. When we're faced with an important decision, the analysis paralysis takes over. We think that if you get just a little bit more information, if you do a little bit more research, if you think through it longer, well, then the right choice will become clear, but that moment of clarity never comes. Instead of that, you just waste precious time, you waste energy in indecision while the opportunities are just passing you by. Analysis paralysis can affect any area of life, from career, relationships, health. It is preventing you from taking action to improve your situation, to reach your goals. Now, you're not being intentionally indecisive. It's not that you're planning to do that. You just want to make sure that you're making the optimal choice, right? But that perfectionism becomes the enemy of progress. Now, the solution is to shift your focus. Instead of focusing on what is the optimal solution for the problem, you should focus on solving the problem. The more options you have, the harder it is for your brain to be choosing. The abundance of choice fuels analysis paralysis. Let's take a look at the past. The geographical limitations, the difficulty before the internet to access information, it made your choices smaller. But now we live in an incredible time in history with more opportunities, more options than ever before. So what do you want to order for dinner as delivery? You can browse hundreds of restaurants in your app. Before, you just have like 5 restaurants in your neighborhood. You're looking for a new book to read? Well, just go online. You can find thousands of different options. You choosing a career path? Again, possibilities are endless. And having this abundance of choice, it might seem like a good thing to have, a good problem to have, because, it is a good thing to have in the end, because you can choose more. But back in the day, with our caveman brains, we have a difficulty to be picking things. We struggle to make a choice. I'm saying this because of the behavioral psychologist Barry Schwartz. He has this from the book The Paradox of Choice. And in his research, we see that while we're thinking, we're making choices, and we believe that it's so good because, there are so many options I can pick from. This actually causes us to be unhappy because it generates indecision, dissatisfaction. Because you're choosing one, but you're saying no to hundreds of different options, and you're always thinking, like, what if? With too many options, we get overwhelmed. We're afraid of making the wrong choice, and that makes us worry that we might regret our decision. What if the other option was better? And that's why we get caught by analysis paralysis. We are endlessly researching and comparing. So that's why in our focus course, you're going to be learning that this is a problem. We can improve it. You can go and take a look by yourself at arata.se/focus course. The first step is to understand that we are terrified of actually committing to a choice. Perfectionism and fear of failure feed analysis paralysis. They are causing you to reject options that are just good enough. At the root of analysis paralysis is often perfectionism. Why? Because you want to make the absolute best choice. So you're setting unreasonably high standards. You don't want to move forward until you found the perfect option. Now, the problem is that the perfect option does not exist. If you're waiting for perfect, that means rejecting a lot of choices that are good enough. You're likely going to get stuck in indecision. And paradoxically, that's pretty bad. Perfectionism is going to be leaving you endlessly searching for that mythical, flawless option. It does not really exist. Underlying perfectionism is usually fear of failure. The fear of making the wrong choice. And you finally choose something, you're going to be opening up yourself to regret. Avoiding a decision, therefore, makes sense. You will decide later. That is protecting you from that potential failure. Your brain convinces you. If you just think a little bit longer, maybe you're going to find the foolproof choice. That's analysis paralysis. It keeps you in this warm, safe environment of indecision because you haven't decided yet, right? You're still researching. But playing it safe leads to stagnation. Successful people know that failure is just part of the process. It is a stepping stone to growth and progress. So they overcome analysis paralysis by sticking to the good enough. And they're willing to correct the course along the way. They understand that taking an imperfect action, it is better than to be endlessly searching for perfectionism. Practical strategies can help you to overcome analysis paralysis and become a more decisive person. So basically, the practical question is, how can you stop overthinking? How can you start taking action? There is one useful tool I want to share with you. It is setting deadlines for your decisions. Open-ended thinking will breed analysis paralysis. But when you have a deadline, a hard deadline, it will force you to work with the information that you have at the moment. The best possible choice you can make with that amount of time. There is a concept called Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law states that the work will expand to fill the time available for completion. If you have more time, you're going to be taking more time to get it done. So if you limit your time, you will have your decision made in a shorter period of time. When it comes to everyday choices that are not life-changing, you can also practice using your intuition. You go with your gut instinct. After you gather the basic essential information, just go with whatever feels right. Often we already know what we want to do, but we let analysis paralysis appear and start to create doubt. Trusting your instincts and acting decisively will help you to build the habit of avoiding overthinking. For bigger life decisions, higher stakes, it's a good idea to have a framework. There is different types of methods. You can use the weighted decision matrix, with which you're going to be listing the factors that matter most to you. You're going to be assigning them a score of importance. You're going to be rating each of your options, each factor. This is a structured approach. You can use a spreadsheet for that. it will make the best choice more apparent than to be stuck with circular overthinking. Even just defining what a good enough choice looks like will be something that can be helpful for you. You can have good parameters. If you're interested in that, this type of matrix, next week I'll go deeper into that. I'm going to be making an episode just about this technique. Another shift that can short-circuit this analysis paralysis is viewing decisions not as something permanent. It's just an experiment. You can frame your choice as a trial period, whether it is like a new job, a new city, a new workout routine. You just give it a try. Knowing that you can change, you can reevaluate later after you test it. It will lower the stakes, will make it easier for you to move ahead and actually make a choice. The most important thing here is start taking action, even if it is imperfect. You have to recognize when you're spiraling into this overthinking, and you have to consciously choose to do something rather than just continue to analyze more and more and more. Focus on the benefits, on the upside of making a choice. Relief, growth, progress, rather than the downside of regret. Just take a small step and then let the momentum carry you forward. Because we all fall prey to analysis paralysis sometimes, especially for situations with big potential impact on our lives. It's natural that you want to be cautious, you want to be analytical in deciding. But when this overthinking crosses the line, paralyzing you from actually moving forward, now it is time to short-circuit that cycle with action. To learn more about becoming a decisive person who can reach your goals, you can check out our link, arata.se/focus course.